Hey friends, welcome back to Homestead on a Prayer. I hope you all had a wonderful Mother's Day. Today is Monday, the day after Mother's Day, and I did have a great Mother's Day. My family took me out to this local farm that I've been wanting to try out for a while, and of course I got some beautiful plants. So I am going to show you guys my little mini Mother's Day haul, all the plants that I got, including some new tomato varieties that I did not already have. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a couple minutes. I did take some video clips at the farm. It was a really nice local farm. So if you are in Connecticut, if you're somewhat near me, the farm is called Foster Hill Farms and it's out in Stafford Springs. I do definitely recommend taking a trip up there if you are local. So I'll leave a link to their website in the video below. They have so many varieties of tomatoes and peppers. Now, one of the reasons that I love to grow my tomatoes and peppers from seeds is just because there are so many varieties available when you start from seeds that you just can't get at most local nurseries. But of course, this place is the exception. This was the first time I had ever been there. And they have, I think it's over 100 tomato varieties and maybe 50 pepper varieties, something like that. So there were lots to choose from. Now, I am still always going to start most of my plants from seed. It's so much cheaper than to just buy lots of started plants when you like to grow dozens of tomato plants like I do. So I am still definitely going to start from seed, but this was a really fun place to go. I got some varieties that, well, I'll show you what I got in a few minutes. So first I just want to show you a couple of video clips of the farm. So tomatoes and peppers are their big thing. They also have herbs, they have some annual flowers, they have other vegetables as well. They also breed miniature donkeys and they were so cute. So I'm just going to show you the videos from yesterday. It's just a bunch of short clips. I think I'm going to mute the clips and either I'll play some nice music along with the clips or do a voiceover because there were a lot of people talking in the background. So enjoy this little glimpse of my Mother's Day. So as you can see, they had so many amazing varieties and so many plants there that we really did have a great time. Of course, I had to narrow it down and not get every plant that looked interesting because, you know, I do have limited space. So I do want to show you the handful of tomato plants and a couple other plants that I got. I used a lot of discipline. I was really restrained. I got, I think, 7 tomato plants and a couple other plants as well. So let's just take a look at what we got. So first, I got this Russian Big Roma. Now, I am growing a handful of different sauce tomatoes. I was hoping to find a variety that works really well, or maybe we'll enjoy growing a variety and continue to grow a variety of tomatoes. But this is a variety that I wasn't familiar with that they had. It's called the Russian Big Roma. And let me just pull out the tag. As you can see, these look like pretty sizable sauce tomatoes. I really like the idea of growing plants that produce maybe fewer but larger tomatoes. It makes it a lot easier when you're planning on processing plants for sauce and salsa and things like that, especially sauce where you need to peel the skins off. So we're going to give this one a try. And this one did have a bonus little plant in the pot. I don't know if you can see that second plant there. It got a little damaged on the drive home, but I might see if I can salvage that and maybe get a second plant out of this. We'll see. Next, I got this. This is Cherokee Purple, and I think I got 2 of these Cherokee Purple plants. So Cherokee Purple is, of course, my favorite large slicer tomato. I make a point to grow that every year. And of course, I started some from seeds this year, but for some reason, my Cherokee Purple seeds just didn't germinate this year. I'm not sure. The seeds were a couple years old, but they were new enough that they should have still germinated. So I'm not sure if maybe I didn't store them properly. Maybe the seeds got damp or something when I was planting them last year. Either way, I didn't have any germination with my Cherokee Purples, so I had to pick up a couple of these because we definitely cannot go a tomato season without having Cherokee Purples in this yard. All right, so here I got black cherry tomato. So this is another one of my favorites that I grow every year. We like to grow a variety of cherry tomatoes at my house. It makes for just a really beautiful salad. We like to do caprese salad, and we just really like to have a big variety of tomato colors and flavors in our cherry tomato basket. And black cherry is my son's favorite cherry tomato. So I make a point to grow that every year. I had somewhat similar problem with these this year. I did have 2 that germinated. I was only planning on growing 2 plants. So it was fine that I had 2 that germinated. But for some reason they were very delayed. They germinated a lot later than all of my other tomato varieties did. So while I do have 2 plants and they look healthy, they are very small and far behind, and we didn't want to have to wait that long for black cherry. So I got one that's already started and looks really good to give us a little bit of a head start. So next, I got the Chef's Choice Black Hybrid. So I know I grow primarily heirlooms, but I did want to experiment with growing a couple hybrids this year. So partway through the season, every year, my tomatoes do get hit with some sort of disease. And even when the disease starts, we're able to keep them going for a while and still get a respectable harvest. But I think that it does cut into my harvesting season. I would like to be able to get ripe tomatoes all the way up till frost if possible. So I wanted to experiment with adding a couple hybrids into the mix. You know, heirlooms are famous for their wonderful variety, for having really rich, really good tomato flavor. Heirlooms really shine when it comes to flavor and variety. But a lot of times they don't necessarily have the same disease resistance that a lot of the hybrids do. So while I am going to continue to grow primarily heirlooms, I wanted to add a couple hybrids in. So I have a few different types that I started from seed. And you know, I love the black and purple tomatoes. So I decided to give this one a try. I don't really know much about this variety, so if you have grown the Chef's Choice Black, I would love to hear how it did from you. And it does come in, the Chef's Choice does come in a range of colors, so if you've grown any of the other colors as well, I would love to hear how any of those did for you too. So next is another Chef's Choice. This is the orange version. So basically same story here. So these come in, I want to say maybe 8 or 10 colors. I'm not really sure exactly how many, but there's quite a few. The farm that we went to had 4 colors. They had these 2, the orange and black that I purchased. They also had red and yellow. I have quite a few other red and yellow tomatoes that I'm growing already. So I wanted to try the black, of course, because that's my favorite, and I wanted to try the orange. Now, yellow tomatoes also, while they are really good and they do make for a good variety and contrast, I find that their flavor is a little bit too mild in general for my taste. So I wanted to go with the orange because it usually has a little bit, still mild, but a little bit richer flavor than the yellows. So I got the orange and the black, and we'll be trying both of those this year. Finally, for tomatoes, I got this Brandy Wine Sudeth, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure I pronounced that right. So Brandy Wine is one of the most famous and classic heirloom tomatoes. It is really delicious. It produces really big, wonderful tomatoes. I haven't grown Brandy Wine the past couple years though, and when I saw, they had I think 4 different Brandy Wine varieties there. When I saw those, I decided that this was the year to give Brandy Wine another try in my garden. So we'll be growing this one. This is one of the classic pink varieties. They also had several versions of a red Brandy Wine there too, but I decided to go with the pink one. This is really beautiful. This is basically a variegated sweet potato vine. So this is an ornamental sweet potato, not a culinary sweet potato. And if you've grown sweet potato vines before, they're really beautiful, especially if you grow them in a pot, like a mixed pot with other, basically just for ornamental value. I have a couple pots in the corner of my garden where I wanted to grow some ornamental plants, and I thought that this would be really beautiful mixed with some flowers. So I think I'm going to go find, I'm not sure exactly what flowers I'm going to pair with this. That will kind of be, that's a little lower on the priority list. I'll get to that once I have all my vegetables put in and my edible garden is planted. But at the nurseries near me, I had to drive a little bit to get to this one. So the ones that are right down the street from me, they have the classic really bright green sweet potato vines, and they also have a darker purple black variety, which are both beautiful as well. But I hadn't seen this one before, and you know, I had to give this one a try because it's got beautiful foliage. Finally, and this was definitely an impulse buy, I decided to try this strawberry mint. So the sweet potato really was an impulse buy too. I went there really only planning to get a few of these tomato varieties, which I did get, and then I decided to get a couple other things too, because you know, that was my Mother's Day present, so I decided to, you know, buy a few extra plants. So this strawberry mint, I have never tried before. You know, mint comes in so many different varieties, and I have a handful of them in my yard. I've got the classic peppermint and spearmint. I've also got a chocolate mint. My daughter last year tried a grapefruit mint, which I have to see if that overwintered. I have to check that out and see. But I recently just heard of the strawberry mint. I had no idea that this existed and was a thing until recently. But in one of the gardening groups that I'm a part of on Facebook, people were raving about this, saying that it had the best smell, that it was so delicious, and I decided to give it a try. So I'm going to have to find a good spot for this mint to go. This is a perennial in my area, and it says on the tag here, big fruity scent, strawberry and chocolate flavors make a tasty tea, and I mean, that sounds amazing. So I can't wait for this to get nice and big and try it as a tea. We'll see how it is. So I'll definitely keep you updated about that. Right now, I can already tell you that it does smell amazing. So there's my little mini Mother's Day haul. We had a lot of fun yesterday, and I know we're gonna have a lot of fun this summer trying out all these different tomatoes once they start yielding. So thank you so much for hanging out with me in this short little video today. I'm glad that I got to share all my Mother's Day purchases with you, and I can't wait to show you how these all grow and give you my thoughts on each of these tomato varieties at the end of the season. So thank you so much for just hanging out with me this morning and just taking a look at these plants. I hope that you had a wonderful Mother's Day too, and I can't wait to see you soon. I'll see you next time.